Hello, and welcome to my tutorial for making a Father's Day card using text on Brother Canvas Workspace for the ScanNCut machines. After logging in, you should come to the main page where you will see three tabs: Canvas Project, My Projects and Pattern Collection. Let's click on New to get started. Here we have our Canvas Workspace with an image of the cutting mat and areas on either side to work on. I'm going to start by giving our project a title: FD Text Card 1. Below is the pattern menu bar. We'll be using Basic and Text. Click on Basic and we can see there is a large number of basic shapes to choose from. I want to make a card template, so I'm going to select a rectangle. Click on it and you'll see it appear on the top left corner of your canvas space. Around the shape are blue dots or handles for resizing it, a green circle for rotating. With the shape selected, a measurement label appears at the bottom of your screen. Watch the measurement change as you pull a corner of the shape. Pulling the corner also constrains the proportions of your shape. By clicking on the green circle, you can freely rotate your shape. Use the undo arrow to go back. Holding down your Shift key while rotating will make your shape turn 45 degrees at a time. To set your exact measurements, select your shape by clicking on it. Go to the Properties box on the toolbar. By hovering over the box, a Show Properties label appears. Under the size and angle, you can also set the exact angle for your shape. Type 90, then Enter. To return, type 0, then Enter. I want my rectangle to be 180 by 130 millimeters. I need to uncheck Maintain Aspect Ratio and type 180 by 130. I want my rectangle to be horizontal, so go back to the degree box and type 90 and return. Close the box. This is the folded size of my card. Next, I want to create a mask using Offset. To do that, select your shape, go to the Edit tab, and move your cursor across to the offset icon, which looks like two circles with the letter H, and select that. Now you can see a pop-up menu with options to set the spacing or distance of your offset from the selected shape. Offset direction, how you want your offset to be by keeping the original line or deleting it. You can also select whether your offset will have round or straight corners. By sliding the spacing bar, you can select the offset distance. I want a 10 mm distance. I want an inward offset, and now the options bar has faded out. Leave as is. I want corner type bevel and OK that. My rectangle now has a smaller inner rectangle. I want to add some colour. By going to the Properties box, then going to Colour, I can just change the line colour by clicking in the right-hand box and selecting colours from the drop-down menu. You can see the outline colour changing. but I want my lines to stay black. Now go to the fill box and choose a colour to fill your shape. Select the inner box and do the same. Let's move the inner rectangle to the side. I want to make a complete card shape for cutting. To do this, I need to duplicate the large rectangle. Select it, close the Properties box, go to the Edit tab under Cut, Copy and Paste and select Duplicate. Click and drag the duplicate to below the first rectangle so that they are just touching. To see closer, let's zoom in. Select the magnifying icon, draw a fence by clicking on the mat, holding down your left mouse button to drag your mouse across the area you want to zoom to and release the mouse. Move the rectangle so that they are just overlapping by selecting one and use the up-down arrows on your keypad. To centre align the rectangles, select both by holding down your Shift key and clicking on the shapes. Go to Edit. In the Align area, select Centre and click on that. I also clicked on Edit Middle. That made both shapes sit on top of each other. To see what happened, go to View, Fit to Mat. I can just undo that, hitting the Undo arrow on the toolbar. Just check they are both centre aligned. Select both shapes, go to Edit and Centre. With both shapes selected, I want to weld them together. So select both shapes, go to Edit and select the Weld icon in the Process Overlap. I now want to add a centerfold cutting line. Select the Path tool on the toolbar, click on your work area, release the mouse button, but holding your Shift key, click on the other side of your rectangle. Your line is still connected. To end it, click in the center of the blue circle. With the line still selected, go to the Properties box and change it to 180 millimeters long. Go down to Line Type and select Cutting Line. Go down to the dash pattern and select a dash. Close your toolbox. Let's center the line, holding down the Shift key to select the rectangle with the line. Go along to Edit, select Center. Go to Edit again and select Middle. Now I want to group both shapes together. There are three ways to do this. Edit and Group. Let's undo that. Select the shapes again. Right-click on your mouse and go down to Group. We'll undo that one more time. Select both shapes and hit G on your keyboard. Both shapes move together. So let's bring back the matting layer. To bring the matting layer to the front, right-click on your mouse and a pop-up menu should appear. Scroll down to Bring to Front. Group the shapes together and move them to one side. Don't forget to save your work. Go to the icon with an arrow and a box. It says Overwrite this project. Click on that and you'll have a confirmation box. Click on that, OK. Your screen will change for a little bit and your project is saved. Part 2 is adding text. I want to add the words Happy Father's Day, change the line type, use offset to create a border, stretch the letters, cut out the centres of H, P and Y and create a mask. So let's get started. Go to the Patterns bar, select Text, choose a font and click on it. A text box will appear on the top left corner of your cutting mat. Follow the instructions above the font list and double-click inside the text box to edit it. Highlight the text and type Happy. Move that aside and go back to your fonts and select again. Double-click inside the text box. You can use the backspace on your keyboard to delete individual letters. Type Fathers. I want to type uppercase and set that aside. Now I'm going to choose a different font for Day. By hovering over the fonts, a label appears with the font name and number. I choose Florida Bold. Double-click in the text box, highlight it and change text to Day. Now I want to change the font for Happy. Go to the Properties box. In the text area, you can see the current text is called Antique Oakland Bold. I want to change it for Florida Bold. You can try different fonts to see what they look like. Select Florida Bold and close the Properties box. I'm just moving the words around to give me a little bit more space and to group them together a little bit, because the next thing I want to do is to bring over the mask. If I just select the words while holding down the Shift key, it'll select them all together, and I can press G on the keyboard to group them. Taking a corner handle, you can reduce the size of the text to fit inside the mask. Just pull it and rearrange it until you're happy with the size of the lettering inside the mask that you're going to be using on your card. When you're happy with your words, just move them and the mask out of the way. If you right-click on your mouse, you'll bring up the drop-down menu and you can ungroup the words and then separate them again. If you close the arrow, you can close the pattern menu bar to give yourself some more space. To edit the word Fathers, select the word, go to the Properties icon, scroll down to Line Type and leave the cutting drawing line, but I do want to add a fill colour. Then close the Properties box, deselect Fathers, and we'll have a look at the word Day. With the word Day selected, go to the View tab, scroll down and click on Fit to Selection. I want to stretch the tail on the letter Y. But first, a tip for moving around the screen is to scroll up and down using your mouse wheel. Or if you hold the mouse wheel down and move the mouse from left to right, you'll see your image move from left to right also. All of the letters on the word day are grouped. So if you right click on your mouse, you'll see that you can't actually ungroup the letters. So select the word, right click on your mouse, you can't ungroup, so you need to divide. Now that you can see the letters are bolder, and so they're all separated, and we'll pull them apart to make it easier to work. I want to select the letter Y. I'm just using the scroll bar at the bottom of the screen to reposition the Y so it's a little bit better and easier to work on. Select the Y and select it again, or double click on it. You'll see a lot of blue and white spots. These are nodes and node handles. You'll see a pop-up box for controlling the nodes. You can use the drop-down box to change the curve to straight and back again. By dragging the white handles, you can change the shape. Just click on the undo button. Double-click the Y to highlight the nodes again. The plus sign adds nodes and the minus sign subtracts them. If you click on a node, then click on the plus, you can see that a node has been added. Highlight that line again and click on the minus, and that node has been taken away. I want to stretch the tail of the Y, so draw a fence around it, but I have too many nodes selected, so I need to deselect two. If you hold your Shift key down while selecting the nodes, that deselects them. Then move your cursor to the bottom of the Y in the center, and you can just pull it and stretch it to the shape and length that you want it to be. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to make a duplicate of it for later. Just select the Y and press D on your keyboard, and then let's take a look at our workspace. Go to the View tab and select Fit to Mat to see all. After moving the Y aside, we need to duplicate the word day by selecting it. Hit G on the keypad to group them. Right-click your mouse and select Duplicate. Drag and drop the highlighted letters to one side. I want to make the word day look a bit like joined bubble writing with a stitched effect. First, fill the letters in with a colour by going to the Properties icon on the toolbar. Choose a colour to fill the letters. Then change the line type to a cutting line. Now let's create a 1mm outward offset. With the letter selected, go to the Edit tab, select the Offset icon. We want the spacing at 1mm, outward direction, leave options checked, leave as is, round, and OK that. We have now created an offset, but the inner letters are behind the offset. Bring them to the front by right-clicking your mouse and selecting Bring to Front from the drop-down menu. To see the offset, select the magnifier, draw a fence around your word, and we can see. I need to weld the word day, but first I need to remove the centers. Deselect the offset. Draw a fence around both sets of letters to select them and hit G on your keypad to group them. Right-click your mouse and select Divide. I can now select the centers of D and A to remove and delete them. To weld the letters, I need to select them by drawing a fence around both sets. Right-click on your mouse and select Weld. As you can see, the letters are now solid. I want to make sure the outline is a cutting line only, so select the letters. I'm holding down the Shift key on my keypad while selecting each letter. Make sure the cutting line is checked. Return to the View tab and Fit to Mat. Then move on the duplicate word to your work area. Select the magnifying glass and zoom in. I now want to create a stitched effect around the outline. Go to the Properties box and select Drawing Line. Go to the Dash Pattern drop-down menu and select a dash. I've selected the fourth one down. Close the Properties box. I'm just ungrouping the dash letters. And now I need to centre them over the solid letters. Click and drag the letter over your solid letter. I need the dash letter to be in the front, so highlight it. Right-click on the mouse and select Bring to Front. After moving the D, I want to centre it by deselecting the dash and reselecting both letters. Go to the Edit tab, select Centre, then Edit and Middle, and then right-click and Group. Do the same for the A and the Y letters. Bring to Front, move over this solid, select both, go to Edit, Center, Edit, Middle, right-click and Group. Same for the Y. Bring to Front, group both together, Edit, Center, Edit, Middle, and just G to group. I now want to arrange the letters and weld together the outlines only. I'm just going to move the letters a little closer so they slightly overlap. Let's zoom in. By selecting each letter individually, I can rotate them using the green rotate handle and rearranging them as I go. I just want a bit more room to work, so I'm using the zoom tools. When you're happy with the arrangement, you must ungroup the letters before welding the letters back together again. So I'm just right-clicking my mouse and ungrouping. I haven't ungrouped the Y to show you what happens if I don't ungroup. Selecting the A and the Y, the Weld tool merges both sets of the letters together. I'll just ungroup that. Ungroup the Y. Now select the outer edges only of each letter, holding down the Shift key as you go to select the letters together. Go to Edit and Weld. Select Day, right-click the mouse and bring to front. Deselect and reselect all of the shapes and group them together. Go to View, select Fit to Mat. Now we've finished day. Remember to save your project. Go to the icon with the arrow pointing down to a box, click on that, and you can see it's saved the project. Please see video part 2 for how to edit the word happy.